All right. Good morning, guys. Thank you for joining me. I'm Sam Lucherini. We are here with the Beyond the Pages Real Producers podcast, and we've got some special guests here. We've got John Niedens with Texturite, and we've got McCurdy Niedens with McCurdy Real Estate and Auction. So I love it when we have these husband-wife dynamics. This is always a lot of fun, and it takes some really special humans to be able to work together and be kind of in the same industry or in the similar industries. So today, we're just going to talk about popcorn ceilings. We're going to talk about some auctions, maybe raising a little entrepreneur, and just a little bit of everything in between. So on that, John, you're one of our business partners. You're one of our preferred business partners. You advertise with us. And so tell us a little bit about yourself and your company, Texturite.
So my entire family's been in the construction business for years and years, and there's tons of us. There's a lot of Niedens out there.
Okay.
We basically created the Texturite process to get rid of those old dingy ceilings. And it's not just popcorn. It's basically any type of ceiling that you're just unhappy with. We've just created that process over the years that has kind of nominalized what old dingy ceilings look like. There's not a lot of people that focus on ceilings, and that seems to be one of those things that the homeowners, they start to do, and then they kind of get in over their heads, and they're like, oh my goodness, I don't think we want to do this anymore. So then that's when they call us, and we've just kind of fine-tuned the entire process to where we can go in cleanly and do all the ceilings in your home. You're not kicked out of your home for any amount of time. Whatever job we start that day, we completely finish that day, or at least it's cleaned up, so nothing is left on the job, and you're not out that much when we do the ceilings. And it doesn't matter what size the house is. I don't care if it takes us a day to do your house, or if it takes us 2 weeks to do your house. Each day, everything is cleaned up, so it's not a very big inconvenience for you.
Which is tremendous. And I found that, I remember when we were first meeting and visiting about the company, that's I think the fear that most people would have. This is going to be really disgusting, dirty, dusty, project.
It's still dusty. I'm not going to lie to you. It's still dusty.
But you guys really take a lot of those pain points away.
Right. And right now we have an extremely good crew. The two guys that work for us, they're outstanding. They show up, they do what they say they're going to do. They're really polite young men, and they're really good at what they do. They're trained to do that one thing. And we've also started to do a lot more interior work, laying some LVP, just any interior small remodel or repairs that you may need. We can also handle that as well as doing textured walls and stuff too. A lot of these older homes have wallpaper and stuff in it that they pull off, and it damages the walls. As a matter of fact, Megan and I's personal home has a lot of, it's an older home built in the 60s, and it just has so many just damaged walls on it, and everything in our house now is textured. And you don't really walk into our home and it doesn't hit you in the face like, oh my goodness, you have
it's
so
not
much
like
texture.
Glaring that you're covering something up. It's just
just enough texture to kind of fix all the problem areas or bad sheetrock joints and old wallpaper and stuff that it's especially nice to have when you have a 4-year-old, because you're going to damage the wall.
That's right. Are you getting a lot of phone calls from people right now? We're in a drought. We're seeing a lot of the, a lot of foundation being exposed, a lot of, ground shrinking, and that's moving a lot of homes. So are you getting a lot of calls right now to be fixing walls and ceilings from that movement?
When it comes to that, we're still we're basically an interior kind of designer, I guess. We're not fixing foundations or anything like that. There's a lot of people that get cracks, and that's one of the bad things about Kansas is that we do get a whole bunch of water, and it causes the ground to kind of swell up, and your house moves. Yeah. We can certainly fix all that stuff, but it's not a permanent fix, and that's just kind of what you have when you live in Kansas. But
got it. Okay.
For the most part, it's a lot of, I don't know, you guys are the real estate agents. You guys are selling houses left and right, and there's a lot of people. As a matter of fact, today we had some lady that we went in on our inspection day, and I was able to get in there and take a look at their house. And then as soon as she was done closing, we basically were scheduled to come in that next day and do the ceiling. So when people start the remodel process, start at the top and work down.
Yep,
so
perfect.
We're able to kind of schedule that, and we do that a lot with other realtors and stuff too, is that we get that scheduled right in the day after their closing, and then we can get in there, get our jobs done, and then they can have their painter or their floor guy and move their furniture in. And we move so quickly that it's
convenient.
Yes.
Yeah, keeps everything on track. I love that. All right. So Megan, tell us a little bit about your personal story for those that don't know, that this is a family affair that you're in as far as the real estate and the auctions. But yeah, just kind of tell us a little bit about that.
So I'm in a family business, third generation auctioneer technically. My parents started McCurdy Real Estate and Auction 40 years ago. That's our 40th anniversary.
Yes.
And I grew up working in the business. In those days, we did a lot more personal property. So the whole household contents, pots, pans, all of it, it all had to be unloaded and brought out into the front yard and all that good stuff. Did not really think I was going to come into the auction business. It was a lot of work. I mean, we worked every Saturday as kids. There was no Saturday cartoons or stay the night with friends or sports. It was, we're going to work.
Yeah.
But I had always worked in the office through high school, through college at Wichita State. And in those days, it was more, pulling zoning maps and looking up properties and doing some research and things like that. And so that started to intrigue me a lot more as we got more into the real estate business. And as I was wrapping up school, I kind of didn't know for sure what I wanted to do, but I felt that hunger and that passion that I didn't think was there. But I remember going in and asking Dad and telling him, I was like, I got my real estate license first. And then I went in and said, I think I want to go to auction school. And I don't think he believed me. He was like, she just doesn't know what she wants to do with her life yet. But I did go to auction school, and that was in 2006. And then the rest is kind of history. I mean, the business has been growing and changing. My brother's in the business. Both my parents are still in and around as they want to be.
Yes.
That's
they've earned that right.
That's exactly right. That's the role that they get to play now. And I always tell Dad, I was like, if it gets stressful, you're going to give it away pretty quickly. But he does. They're still energized by the business. It's been a passion project for them, and it's been family. I mean, so they like coming in. Dad's like, I just like seeing what my kids are doing. So that's the business.
That is so cool.
And the family.
Yes. So, in speaking about that, you've won some incredible awards, through auctions and auction competitions, and so has your father. So, to tell us a little bit about that.
So Dad is the big one. Dad was just inducted into the National Auctioneers Association Hall of Fame this last July, so here just a few months ago. He was the Kansas Auctioneers Hall of Fame several years back, but from the competitive auctioneering, I'm really the only one in the family who's done that. And it is real bid calling, it is real auctions, but they judge you from kind of your salesmanship, your clarity, your sale. I mean, just it's all encompassing. It's not just bid calling. There's an interview portion to it as well. So I did win the Kansas contest in 2010, and there it's mixed. So I was actually against all males. I was the only female in that contest.
So awesome.
And then in 2013, I won the International Auctioneers Championship, and there are two divisions. So I was the women's division winner, and then there was a male counterpart to me that year as well. And he's still one of my good friends.
Yeah, I know. That's the other thing that I have recognized about the auctioneer industry across the nation. Number one, McCurdy's are very well known and respected across the nation. But number two, it's such good people. Like last night, I had a friend in town that does Meekum auctions, and he was in town driving through Wichita for a cattle auction and saying hello. And it's just the humans, the quality of humans within this industry are amazing.
It is really, really cool. The auction industry is one that is so helpful. I mean, you hear the term auctioneers helping auctioneers, but that's very real through the National Auctioneer Association, through Kansas Auctioneer Association. I mean, if there's an auctioneer who called even locally and says, hey, I'm having trouble with this, or I need this, or what do you think I should do in this scenario? There's never a time that we wouldn't share or offer to help. Right. I mean, the thing is, if somebody's representing the auction industry, I want them to do a good job, because every auction represents all of us, no matter if we're doing it or not. So if we can be, a resource, and we've had lots of people be resources for us too. I mean, we were a small little mom and pop shop one day as well. And we're fortunate to have grown a little bit, but we still learn a lot from our peers as well.
Yeah. If only we could take that collaboration over competition and apply that to the real estate industry, it would be so beautiful.
There is some,
but it is very well and alive in the auction. So that's always encouraging. Okay. So John, talk to us a little bit about what does a typical day look like for you? Because I've seen the trucks and the trailers around town, and that always makes me happy. I'm like, I know those people. But what does a typical day look like for you in business?
Business-wise, it always still starts out with taking my son to school. So because we are such a small company, it's nice to be able to do that stuff with him.
Yes.
Drop him off. I meet the guys at the shop every morning, kind of get everything detailed. They're already kind of going, and they have we basically have a shared calendar, and we keep that updated so they know which jobs and stuff need to be done. And they head to the job. They take care of the clients. Any appointments and stuff that I have, I may just kind of travel throughout all over Wichita, outside of Wichita, and get those just talk to more clients and just keep adding to the schedule.
Get the jobs.
Yeah. So that's a great point. What is the service area that you will accommodate?
Anything, I mean, more than an hour gets to be a little bit difficult for us, just because of the drive time and stuff like that.
Sure.
But
so about what our MLS territory covers is a pretty good idea of what you'll cover for.
there's a lot of, it's very strange. It seems like for many, many years we did a lot of jobs just in West Wichita, and then all of a sudden that kind of stopped, and then all of our jobs are in Derby. Like it goes in spurts.
A little cycle, yeah. Well, word of
They
mouth.
see that truck and trailer out front.
That's right.
Neighbors want it.
That's right. That is some of the best, having that all posted up and wrapped. Yep. Okay. Megan, what does a typical day look like for you in business?
It depends on the day.
Sure.
So the auction business is a little bit wild. We're unique in that we're not so focused. We're a lot of like real estate professionals. They might focus on one area. So they might do luxury real estate or commercial real estate or farm and ranch or whatever it may be. And that may be their area of focus, where we get to do a little bit of everything. So we do all across the board, from investment to premier to land to commercial. And then we do some personal property. So a lot of my days, I'd say half my time is spent on working in the business, meaning going out, meeting with sellers, booking auctions, conducting auctions, going to closing, stuff like that. Or the other half is business management. So that's the side that has been, I'd say, not necessarily unexpected, but when I came in, Braden and I were talking about this the other day, my brother.
Yes.
When I came into the business, I think there was like 10 of us full time, and we're up to almost 40. And managing staff and just that, we've been able to departmentalize and grow some mid-level management and things like that. But that's pretty time consuming as well.
Yes.
So it's a balance. Every day's, I feel like we just run 100 miles an hour. That's just McCurdy way. We're a fast-paced shop. We kick out a lot of volume, a lot of work, but we focus really hard on quality, and we have the big support staff to make sure that the quality control is there.
Yes. Yeah. You guys, you make it look easy. It's a fine-tuned machine. Like back when, when we were having the big auctions and the big ballrooms and hotels, it was a flawless process.
What is that? The duck above water, but you don't see what's happening
underneath? That's right.
underneath?
The little feet going like
There's
crazy.
There's a lot of little feet.
Yes, I can imagine. Well, it's not only is Wichita noticing, but I would say the entire nation has taken notice of that. All right. So, John, what is the craziest ceiling or remodel story that you might have experienced? And when I thought of this,
okay, sparkles or
but you see like those Instagram or TikTok videos where someone's just sitting in a lounge chair, or sitting on a couch, and like the ceiling comes crashing through, and I'm like, oh, there has to be a crazy ceiling story.
There's actually two of them that I can think of off the top of my head. One of them, have you ever, those geometric dome houses?
Yes.
There's like 3 or 4 of them.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We've sold some at auction.
Oh, I bet.
Those are 100% popcorn on the inside. Walls,
oh my gosh,
ceiling,
all the way
everything.
down. Oh no.
And it's like doing a giant inside of a golf ball.
Right.
And they're just, they were not
miserable.
a fun ceiling to do. So I think after the first one, we did the first one maybe 15 years ago. I don't think we've done another one since.
Or you'll have to really quote that
Yes.
appropriately. Yeah.
The other one I do remember doing and they were happened to be walls in College Hill. And it was a really, really old plaster walls. It had wallpaper and stuff on it. And we actually, my crew and I got done troweling all the walls. And it took us about 3 hours to get this entire room done.
Okay.
And we start on one corner and we go all the way around. By the time we had gotten all the way around, we looked behind us and the texture was just like, it just fell off like dominoes all the way around. And we thought,
why?
Oh, no. The wallpaper, the moisture and stuff, that a lot of times we can go over wallpaper, but it just happened to be just an older type of wallpaper, and it wasn't a big deal. We were able to go back and redo it. But when you spend that much time and then you just look behind you and it's just coming down like dominoes.
That's when you need a lunch break
or
a drink or something.
We regrouped after that. But in the end, the texture obviously stayed on the walls permanently.
Good.
But yeah, those are the two that I can think of off the top of my head.
Oh gosh. Okay. All right, Megan, craziest auction story that you can recall.
Oh my gosh, I should have looked at the questions ahead of time.
Oh, that's okay.
Every day is crazy. It's just, you always have to just be ready for the unexpected in the auction business. Whatever you think, anytime you do like an event, it's kind of like event planning, to think that everything's going to go the way you had planned. And so being adaptable and being able to roll with it.
Not be paralyzed by freaking out or
Yeah. We've had, it sounds crazy, but we've had all of a sudden tornado sirens in the middle of auctions. We've had ice storms. We've had to cancel auctions. So weather has been a big thing before. People always ask about like the oddest things we've ever sold. And believe it or not, I mean, it's, you would not believe. I mean, just the things that people keep or have in their homes, especially back in the days where we did a lot of personal property. I mean, I remember as a kid, like finding dentures and being like, Dad, like what is, like why? Are we selling this?
That's crazy to see that for the first time.
But there's been, in the auction business is a lot of fun. Dad always says you should write it. He told me early, he's like, you should write a book. Should write all the little funny things that happen or crazy things that happen.
I would agree. I think Dad is right. It's such a specific niche that it could be really interesting, really fascinating.
We run into a lot of things. Or we run into, I mean, people even the way they bid and like to intimidate each other, and all of a sudden bidders are in each other's faces. Or I mean, we've had to hopefully. I mean, there's
have there been like fist fights and
no? Yes. So that was a long. I wouldn't say fist fight, but in a shed one time, we were selling personal property and we were in there selling the tools, and it was hot and we were all sweaty, and all of a sudden these two gentlemen were not getting along, and I actually think I heard one of them pulled a gun on one at the other. So that was not good. If you know Rick, I heard Rick came running out of the shed.
Good.
Immediately.
Rick is smart. Get out of there.
But then, there was one time I will think about this. These two gentlemen were bidding on land, and they were trying to intimidate each other, and they literally got nose to nose, and they were staring at each other instead of at the auctioneer, and they would just wave their hand at the auctioneer to bid, but they would not
like
stop
a bunch of children.
Yes, they would not stop eyeballing each other, and it was so crazy of how
that is
close
intense.
they were.
Because at any moment they can break out, and then you're going to have to stop the chance so that whatever can.
It's just dealing with
hilarious.
the public, right, John? I mean,
Yes.
we walk into people's homes, everything. I mean, it's kind of
you get to see a side of them that there's a veil that's been lifted.
Yeah.
You walk into people's homes, especially in the general public, majority of the people completely, they're just
normal,
like us.
You would think. Yes,
exactly.
Yes.
But you walk into some and you're thinking, oh my goodness, like you want your ceilings done?
That's your concern right now?
This is your concern right now. I mean, we've done some jobs that they don't have front or back doors. And it's like, maybe put a door on your house before you worry about the ceiling.
I know a good real estate agent for you. Would you like to auction this house? It's bringing a value. It's bringing a premium right now.
Sometimes that's kind of the bad thing too, is that you walk into a home and then with their ceilings done, and then I think to myself, this would be a better fit for auction. And
that's a good thing.
Which one of them gets the payday? Does it go to Megan or does it go to John?
That's right. It all comes to the same household.
Maybe we tell them, as soon as you do your ceilings, it's going to be better. It's going to sell more at auction. So do your ceilings first and then go to Megan.
And also buy a door from Lowe's.
And vice versa. We've been able to compliment each other in this world.
That was going to be one of my questions.
We can also install doors.
Yes. Okay. There we go. Yes.
That's really rewarding because we do get all walks of life. And I know both of us, sometimes those little ones that you think are, this doesn't seem like that impactful, it really is. That's where you're making the biggest difference sometimes. And so I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing that we get exposed to that as well, and we don't stay in our little bubble, and that we understand, all walks of life and all realms of people, and know that everybody, is looking for help and doing the best they can. And so having that opportunity to serve all different people is pretty cool as well.
And to serve them unconditionally, right? If that really is their priority.
That is.
Common sense would have said doors are probably a better thing, but being able to still, maybe be a consultant. Yeah, exactly. And maybe just mentioning that doors could be important, but if that's truly what they want to move forward with, then you do that, and you do that with grace.
It's really neat to be able to go into somebody's house and tell them, they may call us there for a ceiling. And then we had some good friends that live in Goddard that they wanted to do the inside of their home and completely remodel it. And they have, 5 kids? 6 kids? I don't even know what they're up to now.
The 6th one's your goddaughter.
That's right.
Our goddaughter.
They basically just said, hey, it's time to update. And we just kind of took it from there. And they picked everything out, and they said, this is where we want stuff, and we were looking to get it done in a timely manner, and it came out really, really pretty. But in the end, it's to start with something that has that, basically needs just a little bit of help, and then in the end, to see pictures of it, if they put their, all their decor up and stuff, it's really, really neat. Even my guys enjoy that fact. And
the before and after pictures, they're some of the best.
Which we're really, really bad at taking. Yes. Until we actually start the project, and then we look at each other. It's like, did you take a before picture? It's like, no, I forgot.
Good. You need to make that on the contract, that's something that you do. Yes. Because we know that's huge for marketing. People, a lot of people are visual. They need to be able to see how ugly it was and then how beautiful the finished product is.
Yep.
Okay. I like that. So what is the 5-year goal with Texturite here for you in Wichita?
We are in the process right now of, we've moved locations, shop-wise, and we don't have a showroom or anything like that. We actually, my wife has allowed us to use our personal home as a showroom.
A lot.
So a lot of times we'll be at home and a customer will call, and any customer that I talk to, I say, listen, I bring little 1-by-1 samples out, and it's difficult to see what a ceiling is going to look like from a little bitty sample. And I say, before you make any decision, please feel free to stop by at our home.
That's
and
pretty
look
cool.
at it. And for the most part, most customers stop in, they realize it's our home, and they look around, and and then we talk scheduling and stuff from then.
And they meet a 4-year-old, and he's very talkative and
Yes.
chatty, and he's less concerned with ceilings, but they do.
Right. But no, that's amazing. I mean, that is building some incredible rapport and trust with your clients.
So they have to have some place to look at that. But in the process of moving shops or creating a new shop, so that we have something to work out of, I would like to see within the next 5 years at least 2, possibly 3 more trailers, because it's out there. The work is out there and stuff.
Yes.
And it's definitely picking up.
Realtors can absolutely agree with all the houses they're viewing, all the ugly ceilings.
It's funny, he does get a lot of realtor calls, and I was like, I know them. I've worked with them.
We do. The one thing that we have really taken pride in is the fact that if we say we're going to be there, that's when we're going to be there. And if we say the job is going to take this long, this is how long it's going to take. And I give my guys credit for that they make sure that they're there every morning and they kick out the jobs.
They do.
And they really are good at that. And I'm a 15-minute before type of guy, because if I'm not, like, I'm late and it irritates me. So
Yes.
They're always early.
That's good.
Your wife is not, but you are.
I know I was late starting this, and I'm sorry.
But, you were onto something there, though, with the real estate. I mean, we are hearing this all the time with realtors, with buyers. If I can't get contractors, I can't get them lined up. They're not showing up.
They're not answering their phones.
They don't call me
their
back.
pipeline is so full that they don't think it's important right now to be answering their phones, but they don't realize that the market will normalize and shift, and those people are going to call those businesses again because they never called them back in the first place. So
that's right.
Just as simple as answering your phone is a tremendous business leverage point that you have. Yeah, I like that. Megan, what, this is year 40 from McCurdy Auction. You and Braden are kind of at the helm. What's in the future for you guys?
Oh, crystal ball. I know. We're not, obviously growth, we're a growth mindset. We've been on we've been growing significantly these last 5-10 years, which is fun, and you hope that continues. Yes. Obviously we have goals and sales goals and things like that. We're looking at, there's 2 ways to grow a business. You either do more transactions or you do higher dollar transactions, which we generally do a little bit of both. We found that we are getting a lot more into bigger premier sales or bigger luxury sales or land or things like that. So larger transactions, more complex transactions, which to us are a lot of fun. I mean, we're not afraid of anything.
I know. Most realtors would be scared to death of that.
We do have in-house counsel. We do have full-time closing department that's all licensed, everything like that. And so we have the people on our team to handle and to work through those transactions, because that's a lot of people. If you get into it's a complicated estate and all of a sudden there's 6 heirs and they're spread out all over the country and I don't even know how to go about this. Yeah. That's one thing that McCurdy's really good at of kind of taking the helm and saying, okay, we can help you through this process. So obviously, goals of continued growth, but at the same time, the bottom line is never stop taking care of people and you'll keep growing. And so Dad has always said that for years and years of, do the deals and money will take care of itself. And that's meaning, if you treat people right and you're, providing a service that they need and you're doing it, step 1 all the way through we have 273 steps for every auction.
Oh my gosh.
But if you do all those correctly, one good auction gets another. That's and so true. It sounds so basic, but that's kind of our growth strategy, is to do good work and to provide good service, and you keep growing. We've been fortunate to see growth, and that's certainly our goal, but it's not like you don't want to just grow to grow. Right. And you got to make sure you're doing it right and doing it appropriately and taking care of people, because if it really boils down to it, we're a service business and we offer a service and do that right, and we'll keep growing. So that's our really awesome. Basic plan.
No, it sounds very smart, very strategic. We always want to complicate things and make them, a lot bigger than they really are. And it does boil down to that simplicity. And you guys are doing it very well. But I am still flabbergasted at the 273 check marks. Mm-hmm. That's incredible.
It is. We've done it several times, but it's a full flow chart of from the time the phone rings to the time basically the folder is closed out, accounting's done with it, and it goes down to the basement for storage for 5 years for K-Rec.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, that's incredible. I love that. Okay, so Megan, you are seeing the industry from a very different perspective than most other realtors here in town. What is a word, a sentence, how would you describe our market right now? This is the end of September 2022. So that's what we're describing the market.
For an unsophisticated word, crazy, wild. I mean, it's so unique. I mean, certain areas are staying really strong. Certain areas are still super competitive. Certain areas are kind of leveling out. Certain areas are slowing down, and it's not always the same. I mean, we had a commercial, the auction the other day that had 46 registered bidders. I mean, and it was competitive. And then you have one that might have 8 or 9. And so it's just seeing such big shifts. I mean, we've had such appreciation in our market for these last couple of years, especially this last 12 months. We had crazy multiple offer situations, which are just like auctions.
All these other agents are freaking out, and you're like,
this is normal.
This.
Yeah.
That's what we normally do.
But then, it's just been, we've also heard a lot of just leveling out, that we don't see that, we're going to see a big drop or anything like that. It's just not going to be that crazy that we've been experiencing. But some of that's still there. It's just, you don't know. I mean, I think the world is just weird right now. Everything from, economic stuff, you see stock market changes, you see interest rate changes. Right. Everybody's just a little bit on edge. And even in the contracting world, you can't get supplies, you can't get, the things you need. I mean, you go to the grocery store and it's just like, oh, all of a sudden this is not available anymore. And it's just, I don't know. I mean, that's
we're all getting very good at being uncomfortable, I think, or you have to, otherwise you're going. But I would agree. I mean, we've never had the pandemic, the supply chain issues, the interest rates, the inflation, all of it happening at once. We've had all of those things, but never all at once. Yeah. And so you're right. It's very unprecedented times.
It's strange to call a paint company that only sells paint and them to tell you, we don't have any paint.
Like how are you still open?
Right.
Yeah.
It's wild, but
then you're Googling how to make paint. No, I'm kidding.
We just redid our core values, and one of our core values has been being adaptable. And because, I mean, if nothing else from these last 2 years, you better adapt whatever's happening in your world or in your business, because as we learned in 2020, things can change very quickly and rapidly and unexpectedly. So, I think that's part of a good business is who can, navigate through those things.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys did a fantastic job. I mean, to the point where you're probably not going to have these 500 people in a ballroom with live auctions anymore.
But we still do the ballroom auction. It's just not in a ballroom. So we do the live stream from our studio.
But I like being around 500 people.
I know. But trust me, the buyer pool is just as strong online. I mean, we can see it. It's probably actually stronger.
I bet, yes.
And it's
easier, more convenient.
It is totally, I mean, I miss it because I'm a live auctioneer. I mean, I'm energized by people and crowd and all that. But the online side, I mean, we're seeing just as big as bidder pools, if not bigger. We're seeing some advantages to it. And so it's actually much easier logistically on our staff to do it from our office.
Right.
But that doesn't mean, we still do live auctions here and there. So we still do like multi-tract land auctions, or we do a lot of charity auctions, sometimes a live personal property. So we still get our fill for live auction. Our heart still gets fulfilled there.
Yes. Yeah, that cup is still filled.
It's not quite the same, but it, it was probably going there anyways. If you really look at the longevity of the auction business, personal property had gone online, pretty much throughout the nation, not everywhere in every auction, but it was going there anyways. And so it just took what should have probably happened in 5 to 10 years happened in 5 to 10 days.
That is what COVID did for everybody. Yeah, it was an accelerator for sure. Whether it was for the good or the bad, whatever was going to happen, it came to fruition a lot faster. All right. So any unusual habits or absurd things that you love? Some people have really crazy hobbies, or they like to drink pickle juice, or anything.
John does like pickle juice.
You do? Yeah.
Pickle juice.
There's people that like to drink pickle martinis, and that's, God bless you people.
Is that you? Pickle and Jameson, whiskey and pickle juice.
You are a special man.
I do like that.
He is a special man.
I think one of my weird habits is loud music.
Oh my gosh.
I like me
like
some
in the
loud
car?
music, anywhere.
Okay. All right. And then
I'll go to bed. I'll be like, okay. He's like, okay, I just need like 20 more minutes, and he'll turn up the music in the pool house, and I'll be like, okay, I'll see you in a little bit, but I'm out.
So talk to me about your son. Talk to me about what you guys are doing, outside of work. I know he's a huge pillar of your life, and I see that.
Yeah. He's literally he's into anything that his dad's into.
He's John's best friend for sure.
Getting dirty. If we're at the shop, I mean, he's digging at things. He's playing with things. When he was younger, he would literally crawl around with a screwdriver and he would start backing just the screws out of the door hinges. And so you go to shut that door, and it would bind up. And you're like, what on earth is going on? And then you'll just see this little screwdriver and some screws popped out.
Yeah.
You never quite figured out how to put them back in. We need to work on that.
That's okay. That's all right. Yeah.
He's all boy.
That's good dexterity. That's well, and I saw on social media that he was doing a little bit of an auction. Do you think that there's a future auctioneer here?
You don't know. So, I mean, we don't want to, and actually I will credit my parents with this. They didn't pressure any of us kids to come into the business. They let it happen naturally. And so do we want to give him the exposure to the contracting world or the auction world, real estate world? 100%.
Yes.
And,
yes.
But I also, it's about him and what he wants, but he is so much, this is all boy, dirty trucks, tools, everything. So out at the shop, we have 4-wheelers that we ride. He has a little gator that he rides. I mean, his name is Maverick, and he is a Maverick.
Yes.
But he is so much fun. He's in preschool or pre-kindergarten right now.
Okay.
And he's loving that. He's full-time. And so he's fun. So hopefully.
He's a big swimmer.
Oh, yeah, he loves swimming.
Little fish.
Since he was born, really, or 6 months old?
We did like the infant swim rescue classes with them.
Which is the smartest thing you can do for a baby. It's life-saving.
Scary.
Well, because we have a pool in our backyard, and it's not covered during the summer. And then we go to the lake a lot. And so,
but he needs to be a strong swimmer.
He was like 2-3 years old, and he would swim to the deep end to get older kids things because they don't have any, they don't suggest any life jackets or anything like that. Just let him figure it out, let him swim and teach him. So he loves swimming. He loves lake, boating, tubing. He got on the tube for the first time this summer and had a blast with that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he's our little bud.
Yes, that is awesome. And I can tell, I mean, I know you guys are both very busy and very successful in each of your businesses, but you can tell that the family time in raising Maverick and just really infusing him with all of this entrepreneurialism and the freedom. And it's just, it's really encouraging to see that.
Well, I think that's been fun because we both grew up in businesses like that, family businesses or around family business. Both of my parents too. They came from both family businesses. And so that's I think that exposure to working hard, taking care of people, customer service, all of that, and seeing that that's how you treat people.
Yeah. That's how you create a good business, those foundations.
Dad's thing was teach you how to work hard, teach you how to treat people. And so if we can pass those two things to Maverick, then I think we're doing a good job as well.
For sure.
That's all. I think it's taking care of your family as well. A business can't be everything.
Yeah.
You want to take care of customers, but first and foremost, you want to take care of your family.
That's right.
And being home, every evening or on the weekends and stuff like that to cook dinner as a family. And I would say 99% of the time, that's where we're home for dinner. We don't eat out a whole lot. Mm-hmm. We love to host friends and stuff at our house, and they bring their kids over, and that's I think that's one of that's very important to me, is just having that family life that's normalized, and that should be your safe spot.
Yes.
In this entire world.
That's the reprieve from all the work. Yeah. Yep. Without a doubt. I love that. Okay. Let's go on to a couple of fun questions here, if you will. Best vacation spot. Where do you guys like to go? I know you mentioned the lake, but where's the best place that your favorite?
Do you want to do like count of 3?
I know what I think you're going to say.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, Grand Cayman.
Okay. We were going beach. You were going beach. I thought you would say Nashville. We also love Nashville. We love live music. So
you were supposed to say it at the same
Grand
time.
Cayman.
I don't think you know
Grand
how this game
Cayman.
works. Nashville is fun.
Nashville is fun too. Yeah.
Okay.
So it depends on what we're going for. If we're just going to go lay on a beach, definitely Grand Cayman. If you want to go have fun and listen to music and just enjoy.
Just to recap, John likes bourbon and pickle juice and loud music. So Nashville has all that.
There you go. That's right. And some crazy wicked real estate that's beautiful and expensive, and I like it. Okay. We've already talked a little bit about balancing, work life and what you're doing, outside of work, balancing all the family. What are, Megan, you specifically, some bad recommendations that you're hearing in your industry?
What do you mean bad recommendations?
Well, like one of the questions, I guess the other side of the coin is, what advice would you give to someone that wants to get into real estate or auctions? The flip side of that coin would be, what are some bad myths or recommendations or things that are going around about the real estate industry or even the auction industry specifically that you you don't agree with. Maybe that's, a lot of people think that getting into real estate is very easy and it's easy money, and it's actually one of the hardest working things that you could actually do, because you work all the time.
So we've been talking about that internally. We're super involved in like the Board of Realtors. And so Braden's getting ready to be president on the Board of Realtors side. We have both been past presidents of the MLS board.
Yes.
It's crazy because everybody thinks, oh yeah, real estate, it's booming, but our inventory is still low. So inventory right now is running around 400 listings in our MLS system. So 400 listings, there's about 2,700 realtors. Do that math. It's not super easy. And I'd say what happens is people think it's easy and they don't do their research. And in fact, we have 2 newer auctioneers coming on board that just got licensed. And I told them, I was like, I want you to read every word of the listing agreement, every word of the contract, every word of our terms, every word. There's a lot of agents who don't do that homework because they think it's going to be easy money. So that would be hugely important. If you're going to make it, you need to be educated. You need to be a professional. You need to be that resource your client needs to be, and then they'll figure that out. Just bad at it. I mean, right now I think buyers feel like I can't buy. It's not worth getting, or even sellers, like now's just not the time. It's all wild. It is a good time. I mean, our inventory is low.
Money is still cheap, yes, and things will only get more expensive.
That's it. Money still, it's this huge thing of like interest rates are, yes, they've creeped up a little bit. But if you think about it, and, I think about my dad talking about being in the banking business back in the early 80s and in the 70s, interest rates at 82 when he went full-time at McCurdy Auction, they were at 18%.
Yeah, so I remember my dad talking about that. People were still buying. People will continue to need houses. If there's death, divorce, growth of a family, jobs, those things always require new homes.
6 to 7% is not a 5, 6, 7%, wherever we end up for the year. I have heard it's going to come back down a little bit. Nobody has that crystal ball, but that's not a bad interest rate. My first interest rate was 6% on the first house I bought. So
look at what we're paying on credit cards.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's.
So letting that hold you back, or maybe thinking like, I'm going to wait till the market comes down. I'm going to wait till the market comes down. I don't know. There is a
risky
day that the market comes down. I mean, I think it might level or slow, but I don't think it's coming down significantly. So that whole, I'm just going to wait it out. There was and I'm trying to think of the way the saying goes, but it's kind of like the best time to buy real estate was yesterday. The next best time to buy real estate is today, because waiting for tomorrow may not be to your advantage.
I like it.
I don't know if I did that right. I think that
kind of sounds like something Lonnie would have said.
Oh, Lonnie has a lot of.
He does. Yeah, that sounds like a Lonnie.
If you don't know my dad, he's got a lot of one-liners.
I feel like a Lonnie is,
and I can't say them all on the podcast.
I know. I'm sure we can't. Yeah, there's things that aren't. Okay, so let's just end this up with a little speed round of some fun questions here. No right or wrong answers, John.
Can you tell out of everybody here who's had more mic time?
Yes.
No, not mic time in this podcast, but I feel like
in life.
In life.
That's a thing about John. John sings. He used to be the lead singer of a band, so you've had mic time.
Oh. Well, I feel like we might need to hear that.
Not this early in the morning.
Okay, because there's only coffee in that. There's not Jameson.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Or pickle juice.
Okay. Well, now I know. Okay. These questions go to both of you. Would you rather be able to fly or be invisible?
I would say fly.
Invisible. My stomach couldn't handle flying all the time.
But I really, really want to work on teleportation. Like, that's the goal. John knows I've been working on it for years. Okay. I haven't quite accomplished
quantum physics.
It yet.
We just need to find a quantum physicist.
That is my goal in life.
It's got to be around this office somewhere, right?
But I would use it to for silly things. Like, I would go from the couch to bed. Just some days I just can't.
Like, right when you're done, just immediately put yourself in your jammies in your bed.
Yes.
Ready for sleep. Okay, I like it. Would you rather be able to talk to animals or see into the future?
Future
for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Would you rather have to write everything down instead of speaking or sing everything?
Sing.
Yes. I would have been disappointed with this knowledge had you not said sing.
I feel like I somewhat do that anyways. You weren't home the other day, but Maverick and I had a full conversation in song. I made him sing it back and we were just going back and forth. It was the funniest thing. He loved it.
That's adorable. Well,
I've got to do that around the office.
You remember things in song. The melody helps you remember things better. I mean, that's why.
I have a very useless part of my brain that remembers track titles and CD albums. Like, oh yeah, that was such and such band. And
you need to be on a trivia team. You're a good trivia person.
That's all I'm good for, though. That's such a specific.
Give yourself a little bit more credit in life.
I mean, you do really good ceilings. There's a trivia team at Chicken and Pickle. There's a trivia team at The Candle. So this is a shout out. If someone needs a good music person, John's your dude.
I could do that.
There you go. They just have to wear Texturite shirts everywhere they go. If they want that knowledge. Okay. Last one. Would you rather be able to lose, or would you rather lose the ability to smell or to taste? And I know that's funny because. Maybe not funny because of COVID did this to a lot of people, but which one?
They just lost them both.
They've lost them both.
Hopefully they got them back.
I hope so. Gosh dang.
I think if I lost my sense of taste, I'd be a much skinnier man. So I'm going to go with taste.
Okay. You'd rather lose taste? Okay.
Because if flaxseed tasted just like chicken fried steak, I'd be eating more flaxseed.
That's right.
I think I'd do taste as well.
Okay.
I just feel like they're so connected. I don't know.
They are so connected. Yes, I know. I think I'd be okay not smelling things, but that's just because I have 2 large dogs at home that are constantly doing stinky things. Yeah, I think I'd rather lose the smell. Yeah, I still want to be able to taste my chocolate and my ice cream. Well, you guys, thank you so much. I know you're both very busy, and I just truly appreciate your time and your participation. And I hope this was a lot of fun for you guys too.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. And
it was fun doing something together.
yeah.
I love it. All right, guys, and that's a wrap on Beyond the Pages with John Niedens and Megan McCurdy Niedens.